So welcome back. So in our Python series today we will be seeing about PyTest. How do we install the PyTest and what are the benefits of PyTest? And we will write a simple Selenium test script using PyTest in Python. Okay, so the prerequisites basically you need to know how you can install the Python in your machine and then configure that by using PyCharm. So PyCharm is one of the preferred Python editor to write the Python scripts. And then we have seen how we can write the simple Selenium test by using Python actually. So if you're not sure, you can just visit to this particular blog where we have explained all the details. How will you install the Selenium? And then this is the simple Selenium script to launch a specific browser and then take a screenshot, and all those things with the explanation are there. Okay, so you can just refer to this one, but today we will be focusing more into the PyTest. So like if you have encountered in Java as a Java JUnit or TestNG as a unit testing framework, or if you're familiar with C Sharp, then NUnit will be your what you call the unit testing framework. The same thing for Python, we have unit test, we have PyTest, but today we are going to see the PyTest. Now let's see the features of PyTest, and it is easy to write test because it is more a natural language, and it is increasing the readability of your test. Instead of writing long blocks, you can just use readability by using the PyTest features. And then it has its own assert features, so like you can validate, you can compare two strings to variables, or even you can fetch the text from a particular application and then verify against a particular string. All those verifications you can do out of box. And then you can even use multiple tests. So if you have like bunch of tests, then you can use some kind of wildcard expressions and then you can execute that. Even you can categorize, so let's say that if you have bunch of test cases related to regression and then functional testing, or else any specific release wise, and if anything specific to a specific module as well, you can categorize those tests, and by using pytest you can execute that. So pytest has few command line what you call arguments or parameters are there, so by using those parameters you can use the pytest and execute that. And last but not the least, but PyTest provides few of the fixtures, and these fixtures will help you to share the test or the test cases or any specific block of code across your test, and so across your framework, I can say. So it can be shared across a specific class, so that is nothing but the scope. And then even you can a specific module you can mention like a package or a session, so a particular session you can share that particular code across your framework. So all those features are available with pytest. Okay, now let's go to the installation. So pytest installation is as simple as we have installed selenium with python or selenium library. It is you have to go to the terminal of your specific project, and then you can just say that pip install hyphen u and then pytest. So pytest is the name of that library, and then it will install. So let's see in action actually this one. So for this, this is my existing code base which we have seen in our previous session, how we can execute a selenium simple selenium script by using python. Okay, so I'm using PyCharm editor, and this is my what you call the project structure. And here let me go to the terminal. So if I go here, open in terminal, so there is a inbuilt terminal to this PyCharm which we have already seen. And we have already seen how we can create a virtual environment, and the VENV, so it means that virtual environment. So any library that you are installing will be specific to this particular project only. We are not installing that globally. Okay, so python, it is recommended that always you use the virtual environment only. So if you're not sure how to set up the virtual environment, you can refer to our previous video, you will get to know more details. Okay, so here what I will do, pip, and then I will say install hyphen capital U, and then I will say pytest. Okay, and then enter. So here you can see requirement already satisfied because I have already installed, so that's why I need not to reinstall again. Here one specific warning it is showing because I am just one or two lower version of the pip, so that's why it's telling me to upgrade that, but that's fine at this moment. Now let's see whether the pytest is installed or not. So if I go to this venv under my project directory and under this lib folder, Python 3.8 is my latest version of the Python. And if you see here, here you can see the pytest is installed. So all the specific libraries or the features that are available is written inside this pytest. Okay, fine. Now let me minimize this one and then collapse this one. So okay, now how do I know the pytest is installed? So again, let's go to this terminal and here you will say pytest and hyphen hyphen version. Okay, so if you do that, you can see the pytest 6.2.1. Okay, by the time I'm making this video, is this one is the latest one. Okay, so that is how you will be making sure that the pytest is installed on your machine or on your project folder, I can say. Now there are few rules to the pytest and these rules are specific, like if you see here, so there are two rules which we need to follow. One is the file name and then the test method. See, any test unit testing framework will be having a file. Inside that file we will be having test methods. Okay, so what pytest says that the file name should start or end with a text or a word that is test. So that's how actually pytest will identify whether the files are related to the pytest or not. Okay, so either you can mention like test underscore login, or you can say login test, like that you can say. And another thing, the test methods also should always start with the test actually. So like let's say that you're validating a valid scenario, a valid login, let's say. So what you can say, test underscore valid login. Another test you are writing where you can say test underscore invalid test or test invalid scenario, like that you can mention, because it should start with a test as a word. Okay, so these are the two what you call rules you need to follow to make your so that pytest can pick up the tests and then run them. Okay, fine, these are the simple rules, and then we have seen all other details of the PyTest. And fixtures we will see in detail because it is a broader scope and not coming into this session. So, but at this moment, let's first try to create a PyTest project. Okay, before to that, let me just quickly recap our previous Selenium test. So, what did we do? We have created a driver variable and launched the Chrome browser, and then we have just waited for some time, and then we have given some page load time, and then we have launched our specific URL, and then we have asserted that with the what you call the driver title, and then we have identified the one element clicked so that it will navigate to another screen, and then we have waited for certain amount of time. Sorry, before to that we have created a screenshot of that also. See how within one line the python is saving the screenshot or taking the screenshot. Okay, and then we have quit the browser. Fine, so these are the simple steps we have already learned that. So the same thing we will now put it into the pytest. Okay, and then we will see how we can run them also. So I will just right click on this project and then new file, and I will give some name and make sure that we are following the rules. Test underscore, I will say sample pytest, some name I'm giving dot py. Okay, now here we need to write that. So to do that, what I can do, okay, I will do one thing. First let me create a method actually, because test method, the test file should be having a test method, one or two test methods I can have. So I will say test underscore and I will say sample one, some name I'm giving. Okay, and because it is a method I need to put it in brackets and then colon, sorry, colon, oops, sorry, colon, and then enter, so it will be coming into a tab. Now in this case what I will do, I will just copy paste this entire thing. Okay, my previous code base, and you can see it is indented properly. Don't worry, all these imports, we will directly import that as well. So let me just copy this portion. I'm just copying from my previous code base only. Okay, so now as you can see, no extra things are required. The same thing I have utilized. And then, okay, so now my test file is ready, test method is ready. Now I have to execute it. Just put another line so that, okay, it always says that you need to, each method should be a space of 2 rows actually. So that's why that error it was showing. Fine. Now let's learn how do we run this particular test. So again, let's go to the terminal, and here I will say pytest space, and then I need to provide the file name. So I can just say sample pytest dot py. I can even do that, even I can execute with pytest only. There is no problem because the test method it's already starting with the test, so it will pick up from that particular project folder. Fine, but let's first specific, because see why I'm specifying this one. Let's say in real time you have 50 different tests are there and you want to only execute one test. So at that time if you only run with pytest, then it will run all of your tests. So that's why you have to specify one specific test that you want to run it. So let me just click. Okay, so before to that, I need to make sure that the browser driver is already set, because I'm keeping this folder path, right? So let me get the latest version of the Chrome driver. So for this, I'll just go here and I will say Chrome driver download. And then, so I have, I think, 87 version. So let me just click on this one. And because I'm using Mac, so I will be downloading this one. Once it is downloaded, I will just extract this one. And let's copy this one. Go to this specific folder. And under this, I will just mention this one. Oops, sorry. Let's go to this, copy this one, go to this, and then here. Yes, and then I will just rename this one to Chrome driver only, because I had 2 times downloaded that. Fine. So I am on the latest version of this Chrome driver. So when you are downloading for the first time this Chrome driver, or you deleted and re copied this one, always make sure that you are right clicking on this Chrome driver and open with the terminal, because it might throw an error. So let's see that what kind of error it is showing. So I have already set up the Chrome driver here and I'm running this one. Let's see that. Okay, so it ran. It means that that is not required, that right click open with terminal. But sometimes if you get any specific error that it cannot be opened, so what you can do, you can just right click on this, open with the terminal. For the first time you need to do that. Okay, and open, and then after that you just close this one and terminate. Then you can run your specific test. I think that is for the first time if you create a new folder and download the Chrome driver. Fine. If you're not getting that error, well and good. No need to worry about that. So as you can see, it is giving some PyTest version and Python all the library versions, and then it is giving where is my path of that particular project, and then what test case it ran, and then here you can see the number of tests run, how much time it is taking, with a green. And here you can see, I'm not sure if you could see or not, but there is a dot against that file. It means that dot means it is passed. If it is failed, it will show with a capital F as a red color. Now there are few parameters are there. For instance, pytest, and if I say hyphen q and then the file name, let me copy this file. So here what this will do, this hyphen q will only show me the result only. No extra information, means this information it will not show. Let's see that. So this will definitely run my test, but it will give me a different output actually. It's kind of a briefing only, brief output it will be showing. As you can see here, if you compare this one, here you can see I'm getting some extra information, but here no extra information, just specific to this particular test only it is showing. You can see one test case passed, that's it. no other information it is showing. So depending on your need, you can just utilize that. There is one help text, actually you can get it, pytest hyphen hyphen help. If you see, then it will give you all the available pytest, what you call, pytest related arguments, we can say these things are argument, right? So depending, like log label, and then if you are logging something, hyphen v for ordering, actually in a specific order. So all this information, debug, if you want to debug something, so all this information you can specify with pytest, and then you can run your test. Okay. So another thing, so it's not limited to one test, actually, as I was telling. It's nowhere the rule says that one test file should be having one particular test. Even we can execute multiple tests also. Like let's say that depending on the module you want to segregate, I mean even though it is a single page, that particular functions are there, or the functionalities are there. Let's say that in one file you want to create two or three different test methods just for readability purpose. Yes, you can do that with pytest also. Let's quickly see that in action. It's very simple. Let me just quickly do that. So what I will do, till this verification point I will be keeping in one file, in one test, and then I will create another method or test method. I will say def, and then here I will say test underscore nav registration form page. Okay, some name I'm giving. Okay, now what this will do, don't worry about that error, we will fix that. So till this particular method will launch the browser, and then will assert whether that particular browser is launched or not with the driver title. The second method will click on this sign up form, and then will take the screenshot. Fine. Now let's see that. So for this, what I will do here, now I'm getting an error actually here, driver. The reason is that driver is very local to this particular method. So it means that I cannot use the driver, what you call, variable or object into this particular method. So for this, what I need to do, I need to create a class, actually like a class variable. So even I can keep a class and method concept also here. So I will just give some name. So here, and there is another problem, actually I've seen, even the class has to start with the test. So the t should be capital, underscore, let's say that something you are giving, test underscore global, some name you are giving here. And here let me create one driver object, and initially I need to assign as none. So like in, sorry, no semicolons. Like if you're from Java background, you will tend to give a semicolon, but yeah, Python doesn't allow any, doesn't what you call, worry about whether you have a semicolon or not. So here driver equal to none. So at an empty object I'm creating at this moment. Now the next thing what I need to do, instead of driver, because see, if I say driver, it is not my class variable, it is local to this one. Now how do I get this driver object? So what I will do, I will use this class name, actually kind of a static variable, I can say. Okay, static means it is, if anything I'm assigning to this one, all other class methods also will use that. That is the concept behind making that class. Okay, so I'll keep everything. So all the driver I will be replacing with my class name dot driver. Now if you see, the error is gone here because I'm using a global driver object. And now what this will do, it will hold all of what do you call, whatever the variable I'm a value I'm assigning to this driver object, here also that will be holding good. So now here we have seen only one test, right? Like here you can say collected one item, one test case got passed. The same thing we should be seeing, that two tests got passed. And now this time let me execute with only pytest only. I'm not specifying any specific test method, because I have only one test method, I mean one test file is there, right? So it will pick up that particular test only. So I will just say pytest and enter. Now you can say collected two items, it is showing. Okay, and then it will close. Now here you can see, here like collected two items, and this is my pytest, and here you can see two dots. Two dots means two times So two test methods got passed actually. Like if you see one thing here, let me do one thing. Let me make it fail actually this one. Let's see this one. I need to fail this assert, right? So what I will do, I'll just add something to make it fail, and let's see how the output is coming. Okay, so here as you can see, the title is not matching actually here. Assert QA1V box in QAB box demo. So that's why it got failed. And if you see here, you can see the output here. It is clearly saying that one test failed, one passed in 8 seconds. So if you see here, yes, if you see here, see F means that is in red mark, and dot means passed, means one test got failed, one test got passed. Okay, and there is nothing out of this. After this assert failed, there are no other what you call code base to execute. That's why it moved to the next one. So if anything I would have printed after this assert will not have been executed actually there. So that is the assert, what you call assert feature, right? If the assert is failing, no other code lines after that will be executed. Fine. So these are the different ways actually you can do, and it is not only limited to the features which I have shown here, because the as I was telling, the PyTest fixtures is one of the what you call important thing that we will be learning in greater details, because it is lot more functionalities are there. So stay tuned, and we will be learning more about this PyTest. So do subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't. Thank you for watching.